I want to bring in now former Navy JAG officer, constitutional lawyer, and Republican candidate for the United States Senate in North Carolina. Don Brown is back with us. Don, welcome back to the program.
Grant, it's great to be here. I'm on the campaign trail tonight in Lincoln County, North Carolina, and they're right next door to the beautiful group of Lincoln County Republican women that agree with your monologue 1,000%. We've got to bring these communists to justice. I'm so grateful to be with you tonight, and we're going to make it happen, I think, this time.
All right. So as a JAG officer, as working with the U.S. Attorney's Office like you did, what do we do to hold them accountable? You know, we've got statute of limitations issues. I'm sure you've kind of weighed all these things out. What's your assessment now as you look at it all?
Well, first off, kudos to Tulsi Gabbard, because now by declassifying these documents that we now see a paper trail stretching really from September of 2016, when the intelligence community said, hey, our adversaries do not have the capability to interfere with the elections. They begin to change their story in October, and then Donald Trump wins the election November the 8th. And then we see this Situation Room meeting involving Obama himself and his intelligence lackeys from Clapper to Comey to Brennan, the whole bunch. And Obama at this point wants to change the narrative in the face of what his own intelligence reports are showing, to now bring in this Russia stuff. So what Tulsi Gabbard has done, and as a former prosecutor, we look to evidence. We now have a hot, smoking gun, paper trail evidence indicting Obama. You can almost bring the indictment based upon what Tulsi Gabbard has now uncovered. And so when you look at statute of limitations, first off, the evidence hasn't been uncovered until now. So there's a question as where the statute would run. But one of the ways you get around the statute of limitations is you allege conspiracy. And clearly there has been an ongoing conspiracy to attack and destroy the Constitution of the United States. And you can mark it back to about October of 2016, definitely in December, after they realized Donald Trump had won this race. They tried to change the narrative. And I heard you talking. It wasn't just the prosecutions of Donald Trump that have been a ridiculous result of all this. But think about it. You have Robert Mueller, who was unconstitutionally appointed to begin with, in my judgment, in violation of the Appointments Clause of the Constitution, take down great Americans like General Flynn and Paul Manafort and Roger Stone and others. They were tasked to look for Russia, and not one defendant was Mueller ever able to pin any Russia charge on, because it was a hoax to begin with. They used process crimes. Obama has destroyed lots of American lives. We got to go, in my opinion, for 18 U.S.C. 241 and 242, deprivation of constitutional rights, conspiracy to deprive rights, and deprivation of rights from the color of law. It brings a 5-year punishment as a felony, and we've got to hit them. We got to hit them hard. They've got to feel the heat. If Pam Bondi does not bring these indictments, then we've lost this country. It's got to happen, and it's got to happen sooner rather than later.
Clearly, my viewers and the ladies that you're with there agree with you on all of this. So let me ask you two questions. I'm playing devil's advocate here. One, you've got the statute of limitations. So some of them will go up to about 10 years. But there's some thought that if you allege the conspiracy is ongoing, meaning it never really ended, I think you could make that argument. It might be harder than the other is presidential immunity. I mean, I argued for President Trump pretty hard that he was basically immune to almost anything as president of the United States. It's hard for me to go back and take that out of context for President Obama. Maybe you can help me do that. What do you say, Don?
Well, listen, in the case involving President Trump, he called, on the presidential immunity issue, he called Brad Raffensperger in Georgia to ask, hey, what's going on with the count in Georgia? As the chief executive officer of the United States, he has a constitutional responsibility to make sure votes are counted correctly. We have a fair election. But presidential immunity does not include absolute assaults against the United States Constitution, which is what Obama has done. What he has done, he has gone in the face of absolute evidence that there is no ability by Russia or any other of our adversaries to engage in cyber warfare, and he's directed an investigation diametrically opposite of that for the purpose of destroying the Trump administration. Now, there was a Supreme Court case in 1951 called Williams versus the United States, in which the Supreme Court of the United States said that voters have a constitutional right to select the candidate of our choice. That candidate has a right to assume the office, and we have a right to be guaranteed under the Constitution, per the Supreme Court, that the respect of the voters be be in place. And so what Obama did, he launched an assault against the Constitution. You cannot launch an assault against the Constitution based on false evidence to bring down the results of a duly constituted election and call that presidential immunity. It's not even a close call.
All right, good news for us then. Last question for you. When it comes to treason, because I really believe this is what this amounts to, as president, can you be charged with treason if you are, quote, carrying out the duties of your office? I think what you just said is these duties were completely unconstitutional. Could we charge him with treason? Would that be an easier charge? It seems like I don't know if politicians have the stones to charge him with that, but could he be charged with that?
Well, the basic elements of treason are aiding and abetting an enemy. I mean, there's certainly a philosophical enemy that he was aiding and abetting. I think you can certainly hit him for deprivation of rights and conspiracy to deprive others of rights, and for deprivation of rights under constitutional law, under color of law, because he was president of the United States. The same is true for his FBI director, who ordered, Crossfire Hurricane. Actually, it was Obama who ordered Crossfire Hurricane. And of course, we get this sort of CYA email that we see from Susan Rice on the last day of the administration, this by the book thing, because she knows it was not ordered by the book. So Obama and his merry band of communist conspirators, from Clapper to Brennan to Susan Rice, even to Joe Biden, all the way down, who's responsible for launching this Russia hoax, ridiculous conspiracy, and all the damage that's caused to good people, should all be on the hook. I think deprivation of constitutional rights is probably your strongest argument, but treason certainly is on the table.
I love that you bring exact charges. You bring the numbers that shows what you were doing for so much of your career, prosecuting crimes like this. Don Brown, you make a great senator from North Carolina. I wish you the best of luck. Real quick, where can people find you? Give me the website.
Brown for NC, Brown, BROWNFORNC.com. brownfornc.com. We need all your listeners to come on, and your viewers, and give us a little love and raise a little money tonight, and we're going to win this race. We're going to take down the Democrats, and we're going to take this flame of MAGA freedom from the Trump administration to the J.D. Vance administration. We're going to win this race.
Well, I love it. Don Brown, thank you, as always, for coming on.